Well, it's a glorious day. It really is. Seen two bumblebees, nice to see. And it won't be long before we see the first of the swallows and house martins around here. Down on the river the other day I saw a couple of sand martins. They're normally here early anyway. But it'll be wonderful to see swallows and house martins. Anyway, it's 4:30, so the Grand Nationals at 5:15, so I've got my selections here. So I'll go in and see how they get on. A little more shaggy flower, but nevertheless lovely with it. The scent of this white hyacinth. They do produce a wonderful scent, hyacinths. And everywhere is this grape hyacinth. It's a lovely flower, but it's a prolific seed producer, spreads everywhere. And this is a very late daffodil. It's just beginning to come out now. It's being the middle of April. There's a lovely pale yellow trumpet, and surrounded by those cream sepals. It does eventually, as it gets older, it all goes white. I just think that is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful flower. A nice deep blue hyacinth, and the colchicum leaves behind, these autumn crocuses. They produce their leaves in the summertime or in the springtime, and then die off, and then the flowers come minus the leaves in the autumn, hence their name, autumn crocuses. And some more hyacinths giving off this wonderful smell in this warm air. They just take care of themselves, really. I don't do anything with them. I don't lift them, I just leave them in the ground. Well, it's the 19th of April. We've had 2 glorious days and everything has just absolutely taken off. And these are the ash flowers on the weeping ash tree, which are just coming now. It's been a lovely day, but the forecast is for rain, and it's going to get a lot colder tomorrow. We should be back down to about 12. Having been 24. And yesterday I saw the first swallow. So lots of bumblebees, lots of butterflies, and now a swallow, which is fantastic. It's the 20th of April. Well, I've cut the grass, and normally I leave the odd island to show the cowslips off. But this year I've decided to leave this bottom end just to grow and see how it develops. Now I've got, I mean, normally when you leave these things to grow and at the back end. It takes you ages to cut them down even with a strimmer, but with that size more it shouldn't be too bad. It's never been fertilised, this never been treated with anything, this bit of garden. So it's what, 20 years without any chemicals on it whatsoever. So the soil should be quite sparse in mineral salts. Anyway, I'm going to sow some wild rattle in there, some yellow rattle, just to see if I can get that away. It grows prolifically in Dales meadows, but it's not very keen on growing in waste ground. Well, everything's going on in leaps and bounds. The asparagus beginning to show now. No proboscis on that. It's a lovely looking thing. Since I removed the rhubarb and cut off all the old stuff, it's suddenly got a new life. Must have grown a foot in a week. Well, today is the London Marathon, and I understand it's about 24 degrees in London. Well, it's 12 degrees. It's 12 degrees up here. A lot colder than yesterday. Yeah, just been looking at that strange insect I came across yesterday in the garden. It's a giant bee fly, that's what it's called. That long proboscis for sucking nectar from deep flowers, usually things like primroses or cowslips. And it has a very strange life cycle. It flicks its eggs into the entrances to underground bee and wasps' nests. And when the eggs hatch, the larva finds its way into the nest and starts eating all the grubs. So it's a bit of a parasite, really. And nonetheless, an interesting thing to see. Well, just a couple of jobs to do today. One is to fertilise all these young trees in the woodland. Usually give them just a dose of nitrogen fertiliser. Growmore is fertiliser of choice. This will be the last year I do them. They're pretty well established now, but it just gets them off to a good start at the beginning of the year. And the other little job is to sow my onion sets. It's a little bit late, but it won't matter. And the variety I've got is Sturon. I've grown these for years, and I found that you get a nice sized onion. You don't want a giant thing. And of course, you also need one that's going to keep for a long time. And I'm still using the onions from last year. Now we're getting towards May. So they're a good variety. So that's it. Outside. I saw them about, I would think it's maybe 10 inches apart. You can't saw them much closer than that, but when they're 10 inches apart it makes it much easier to hoe around them when the weeds start coming through, as they will do when it gets a little bit warm. So you just push these in, and so that just the very, very top is showing. The big problem is that in the early stages birds keep pulling them out. So you just have to keep checking around and stick them back in. Well, we have 3 rows there, that'll do it. Well, the plum blossom is out, and unusually it comes out at the same time as the leaves. Normally the plum blossoms comes out on its own before the leaves arrive. And I know it's a cold day, it's only 8 degrees. There's quite a lot of flies on here, so we'll probably end up with another crop of plums. And there's a great mass of pear blossom, but for all the blossom you get, you don't seem to get many. Maybe this year will be different. Well, there's very little blossom on this green gauge. Last year it was absolutely festooned with green gauges, so it's obviously having a rest. Well, that's it. Nothing for a couple of weeks. I get the rest of those wildflower seeds sown, and then after that there's just the potatoes to sow, but I don't want to put them in until all the chances of a late frost have gone, otherwise it just quite simply kills the tops off and sets them back a couple of weeks. This is a nuisance. So we'll see you later on, see how everything progresses. Well, it's the 9th of May, and having been away for a fortnight, it's time I just go and have a look at the garden and see what's happened to it. I've had a look out of this window. The change has been quite remarkable. Well, the blossom has gone on the plums. You can see here under this plum tree how that grass has grown where it was treated with fertiliser and Epsom salts, magnesium sulphate. It seems to have made a hell of a difference whether to the grass. Whether it's made a difference to the tree or not, I don't know. The patch I left at the bottom of the garden has got this magnificent display of cowslips. Absolutely wonderful. Thousands of them. The strawberry blossom has arrived, and the onions which I put in before I went away they're all coming. There doesn't seem to be one missing. Oh, one. I can see it there. The birds have pulled it out. I'll put it back in. And the biggest change has been with the asparagus. It's grown, well, neck end of 3 feet, most of it. It's too big to pick, so yeah, I'll pick the ones which I haven't gone as far as that, but that's amazing. There's a nice blossom here on the apple tree. This is a Bramley apple, which crops really well, and they keep for a long time. Great for pies and crumbles. And there's masses of blossom on this Cox's pippin. Hopefully we'll get some better apples this year than we did last. And this is the Braeburn. Again, masses of blossom. And they keep well as well, Braeburn apples. Well, the display of cowslips is just absolutely stunning. And in the woodland everywhere, cowslips and dandelions. They're just glorious. This is the first bit of wildflower meadow which I sowed a fortnight ago, and it's a bit early yet, and you can see some germination. And I'll sow the other two patches later on today. The hazel bushes and the maple trees are wanting to leaf now, and this is a little copper beech which I moved out of the other garden where it's been for 20 years and done nothing. It's showing some signs of leaf, but whether it will survive or not, we'll just have to wait and see. It'd be nice if it did. Nothing like a copper beech, although it takes probably 50 to 100 years before they really show themselves off. And meanwhile, these silver birches, which are a nice tree, basically a tree weed. They grow about 4 feet a year, these things. But it's nice, the silver bark. And this is the rosemary in full flower. But it's quite a chilly breeze today, so there's not many insects about. And the final planting job of the year is to sow the potatoes. So, busy, busy, busy. I just noticed that rhubarb down there is also going ballistic since I shifted it. Well, the next big task is always to cut this grass before it gets on top of me, I'm going to have to get a sheep in. The sad thing is, of course, that most of these cowslips down this path here will get the chop.